Well, Otimus Gotimus is back from his voyage in the whatever ocean is near Monte Carlo, where we last spotted the goat boat in this picture. Where are you going now?
Barcelona.
Today on Coffee Break Tennis, we give Fabio Fognini, fabulous Fognini, the credit he deserves and definitively list out the main reasons why he was able to win against Nadal and everyone else he beat in Monte Carlo to get his first Masters 1000 trophy ever. We look at the Barcelona draw where Rafa goes next. Also, Sasha Zverev, last-minute entry to try to pick up points that he might lose in the clay season. We'll talk about who might match up there. Also, one of David Ferrer's very last tournaments ever. And guess what? We might get one final clash with Rafa if he can beat a couple of people. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the few people who have some decent amount of points to defend in Barcelona. We'll read a few of your comments, and we'll talk about the mystery of Leonardo Oscar Mayer Wiener. Why did I call him a German last video? Well, so excited to have you here at Coffee Break Tennis. After an exciting week in Monte Carlo, we did lots of videos. This week is a little busy for me, but I will try my best to still churn out multiple videos for Barcelona this week. And of course, you know we're going to go really big for Madrid, which is coming up. Also, it's reported, I've heard that Roger Federer is going to be in Madrid this week. He's going there early to be ready. Special thanks to @BlueCourtYellow on the Twitters for making that very funny goat boat in Monte Carlo Bay picture for me. Thank you. So let me start with this comment from Marcus, who said, "It is very unlike Nadal making this much unforced errors. Fabio played well, but Nadal wasn't himself." And yes, I will say, I've said it before, Nadal not getting to practice the way he wants to with the limitations of his knees, having to take these breaks, that definitely doesn't help him play his best. But we have to give more credit to Fabio Fognini because what he did was pretty amazing. And the fact that it came from Fabio, who I, like a big bozo, as they say in Frankreich, I said, Fabio looks like a guy who is ready to retire to me. And then not long after that, I saw him playing, and I saw him much more spirited. And then I said, I take that back. Fabio looks like a guy who's sick of losing and will just let it fly now and get the win. And that's what he did when he got so close playing against Mr. Rubles. Mr. Rubles, aus Russland, was a qualifier here, although he is one of the next gens that we used to hear more about before, not so much now. Still got a lot of talent. I wouldn't write him off yet. But he had Fabio, like I said in the last video, pretty much dead. Fabio had to resurrect himself multiple times in this tournament. Remember against Borna Coric, it looked like it was all over for Fabio. Against Sasha Zverev, didn't look too good for Fabio until he pulled it together and crunched him and sent him to Barcelona, where he has to go look for points. So maybe it took Fabio feeling like, I'm sick of losing and I'm about to lose, so let me just play my game and let it fly. I'm going to get on the baseline with my almost zero backswing, take the ball super early, and play kind of aggressive. And then he saw what he could do from these points of the match is almost over, you're about to lose, to now you've won in 3 sets. And he was able to do that against Rafa even better. I mean, he got to it right away. And he did it in the final as well against Duzi Lajovic. So I made, like I said, a definitive list. Here are a few things that Fabio did very well throughout the tournament, but especially in the matchup with Rafa Nadal. One, he changes directions extremely well. It just looks easy. He takes the ball super early and can take a ball that's up the line, cross court, or back up the line, no problem. I mean, all these pros can do it, obviously, but Fabio does it with greater ease. Number 2. And Josh Vanchi has an excellent comment that I'm going to read later in the show that basically illustrates this. But the backhand up the line from Fabio, let's put it on the screen again. I showed you in the last video. Maybe I didn't say enough about it because I've seen too many people not giving Fabio the credit that he deserves. Fabulous Fabio. The backhand up the line depth, the depth that you see in this picture, and the short ones, those are fabulous Fognini drop shots. This pinned Rafa on what I call a desert island, away from his comfort zone, away from him setting up for tons of forehands to dictate play. Rafa's backhand is good with cross-court forehands. They have some pace, they're coming cross court. You don't have to change direction. You can just hit it. Just roll your lefty two-hand backhand through it and send it back cross court and wait till you get something to hit the inside out forehand with, inside in, or something cross court that you get the forehand with. But a flat backhand deep up the line, like Fabio hit tons of, is a little different for Rafa. I know this just thinking from my own tennis experiences, and my backhand is my stronger shot compared to my forehand. Anything that's coming cross court to my backhand, I can do a lot of stuff with it. I can change direction and go up the line with it. I can swing it wider because I think one-handers, and it's funny, we're going to talk about Leonardo Oscar Mayer Wiener later today because he's probably going to, or definitely, Rafa and him will be playing, I believe, Wednesday will be Rafa's first match in Barcelona, and he'll play the one-handed backhand German-Argentine Leonardo Oscar Mayer Wiener. He was able to use that swinging backhand, the one-hander backhand, to get tons of angle to pull Roger. Remember when Leonardo Mayer almost beat Roger? 2014 Shanghai. That's where. In 2014 Shanghai, Mayer almost beat Federer, and one of the things he did was what we've seen Rafa and Joker do to Roger with some success, is get Roger defending really wide on the backhand and then go after the forehand and make Roger hit forehands on the run, which he's not as good. Yes, every now and then he's going to hit an incredible forehand on the run, same with Rafa. But if you constantly make them defend on the forehand side, they're not as good there as, especially with Roger. Roger's so good at running to his backhand side and last minute getting a deep slice or a short probing slice, a knife slice. He's able to do something to stay alive in the point. So what Fabio Fognini was so good at doing is that deep backhand up the line gets Rafa so far away from where he wants to be setting up to hit forehands that dictate play and force Rafa to hit more forehands where he's not on solid ground and he's running, and the key thing is he's defending. Rafa is great at hitting these defensive forehands, but if you make him do it a lot throughout the match and add to it that he may not be at his best, he may not feel his best with the knees, with the wrist, who knows? Who knows if something's bothering him? But also just alone, he's not practicing the way he wants to. He's not as match tough as he wants to be. So you add those things together, and that's how you get it. The drop shots, Rafa's so far back at times. Fognini, some of the best hands on tour by far. So when he's on, he can execute the drop shots. Just add one more wrinkle to make life really difficult on Rafa Nadal. And finally, court positioning makes an easy ball taken early enough, still able to keep Nadal back and not let Nadal attack. Like I've been saying all week, court positioning is key on every surface. Fognini takes the ball so early, and why we say Federer looks so relaxed, it's so easy for Federer, it's because he doesn't have to hit the ball super hard when he takes it that early. He just has to hit a regular rally ball. When he hits this regular rally ball from so early, so close to the baseline, it feels like someone who's further back really hitting it hard. So just one more thing Fabio Fognini did pretty regularly that didn't let Nadal get comfortable and dictate play. Madhukaran's comment kind of says this as well. Fognini seems so careless in walking, talking, gazing. I think what he means is more carefree than careless, but both words will work here, but I think carefree is really what he's going for. Also, in shot making, very carefree. Almost zero backswing, creates fabulous angles. Fognini should have won more than 8 ATP tournaments. Yeah, again, this is something like what we hear about Roger Federer. It makes it look so easy, carefree, careless, whatever. That's the whole taking it so early that you don't have to hit it very hard and you're perfectly safe. You take the ball that early with just a medium 50% swing, it's going to be deep enough and it's going to be on your opponent fast enough to where they're feeling a little bit of pressure and you can kind of relax a little and look pretty carefree out there. But the most important comment of the week comes from Mr. Josh. Come on, Matt. I was waiting for you to notice the similarities, and I did. I should have spent more time talking about it. I was very careful to point out, because I knew a bunch of Raw fans would probably jump all over me and get mad at me. I was really careful to overemphasize how Rafa doesn't get the practice the way he wants to with the knees the way they have been the last few years. Therefore, it's not quite the same Rafa. But you'll see from Josh's comment, Fognini didn't allow Rafa to settle in and be his normal Rafa self on the clay. Come on, Matt. I was waiting for you to notice the similarities between how Rafa got beaten here and how Fed did it in 2017 at Indian Wells, Miami, Shanghai. I mean, the incredible thing here is that Fognini did the same thing, but made this, a clay court, look like a hard court. The stats don't do it justice. Look at how he consistently used that very strong backhand, put the graphic on the screen one more time, to pin Nadal back, to create pressure, and, most importantly to me, to not allow Nadal to dictate. It's folly to me that Nadal said this was his worst match on clay in 14 years. That is not true. It is the worst pressure he has endured on clay, maybe. That may be true, but although the tactic of this win may be similar to Federer's 2017 reign over him on hard courts, the strength of this backhand was of a different dimension. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I had another comment. You know what? Let me find it because it's a great comment, and it kind of says the same thing. And then we're done with Fognini, and we'll move on to Barcelona if you're one of those people that's just here for the Barcelona draw show. Give me 1 minute. All right, so this is from Abhijit. You need two things to beat Rafa on clay. Take the ball early from the baseline, have a double-handed backhand, two-hand backhand. Fognini has/did both. Took the ball super early, hit flat on both wings. It's stupid to see why not so many players employ this technique, especially against Rafa on clay. Not everyone has the confidence to step up on the baseline and take Rafa's ball that early. I mean, look at what Lajovic did. Lajovic beat Thiem by going to the fence to let that high bouncing ball kind of drop a little. He felt like that was a better idea than stepping in. Although, got to give Doozy credit. Lajovic did step in when he could and dictate play, especially as he went through the tournament more. No one is going to win a topspin battle against Rafa on clay. I guess Dominic Thiem would be the only one we could say has done it. Why the heck players don't hit flat at Rafa's forehand? Why they allow Rafa to take big cuts with his forehands? There's only one way to beat Rafa on clay. Take his forehand out of the equation. The way Fognini smiled at the end, it looked like he knew the ploy to beat Rafa, and it worked. All the stuff. Perfect. Beautiful analysis. Let me fix my shirt before somebody comments below that I need to button another button. That was a thing once. It's pretty funny, actually. All right, let's move on. So before we look at the Barcelona draw, I want to ask you a couple questions. Here's a comment from Milya. If Rafa loses in Barcelona, he will not win anything on clay this year. My prediction, I hope I'm wrong. So here's our draw. We're going to be there soon. My big question to you, comment below. By the way, if you have not done so yet, please subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. That helps us out very much. Also, if you really want to help support Coffee Break Tennis, go check out the free 3-part series on developing power on your serve. If you play tennis and you want to help me out, you want to help me afford to buy cans of cat food from Mr. Goat, click the link in the description below this video and go sign up to get your free 3-part series on developing power. The 3X Power Serve Tennis course is an excellent course that I did with Peter Freeman, the tennis coaching guru and genius of Crunch Time Coaching. I have a great serve now, even as I'm not in as good a shape as I used to be. I'm not as fast as I used to be, but I still play pretty good tennis because I have a big serve now. And it's all thanks to the stuff that I worked on with Pete that we cover in that 3-part series. So like I said, you want to help support Coffee Break Tennis, subscribe, thumbs up, and if you play tennis, definitely click the link down below. Check out the 3-part series on the 3X Power Serve. It did so much for my game. I know it will for you. So, like I said, my big question that I want you to comment on is, especially if you're a big Rafa fan, but imagine you are the biggest Rafa fan. If Rafa does not win in Barcelona, is it time to panic? Does this mean this is not going to be a very good clay court season? Comment below. What does it mean? Now, to me, I think if he loses in the final, because Sasha Zverev, because of the rankings, we're about to look at the draw. Let's see. Yeah, he's on the bottom, Nadal's on the top. Let's say Sasha just plays the best match of the whole year he's had so far and beats Nadal in a crazy final. Not so bad for Rafa. We could still, I think, we'd still say he could have a chance. Rafa could face Stefanos Tsitsipas in the quarterfinals. They met in the finals last year. Maybe Tsitsipas has a super inspired match and does a little bit of what we saw with Fognini, although some people think the one-hander can't do it as easily on clay because of the higher bounce. Maybe Roger did it on the hard courts, the flat backhand up the line to get Nadal far away from his comfort zone and pinned deep back in the backhand corner. Maybe Roger was able to do that on a hard court, but the bounce is lower there. On clay, maybe you can't do it with a one-hander. Maybe you can, and Stefanos proves it in the quarterfinals, plays the match of his life. I don't think Rafa's in trouble. If Rafa loses early to Leonardo Oscar Mayer Wiener or to David Ferrer in the third round, which I really hope happens, then I think maybe Rafa fans should panic a little bit. That's what I think. Comment below what you think. One last comment. Check this out from Gabriel. I don't believe Nadal will win Roland Garros this year. So losing in Monte Carlo was enough for Gabriel to make the prediction on what happens. Because remember, all that matters is Roland Garros. Everything else is really nice for Rafa, but he's got to win more French Opens. That's how he keeps elevating himself in the GOAT discussion. Comment below. Do you already have your mind made up after Monte Carlo? And if he loses at Barcelona, let's say he loses first round. Does that mean it's time to panic? Say he loses in the final. Does that mean it's time to panic? Comment below. So who has points to defend before we look at this draw? Well, Nadal, who won last year, 500 points. Stefanos, who lost in the final last year. Tsitsipas, the City Pass, that's 300 points. Dominic Thiem has 90 points, so that's a quarterfinal. David Goffin, the Gopher, has 180 points. That's quarterfinal. And who is the other quarterfinalist? That's right. Pablo Correa Busta! He's back. He's in this draw. Let's take a look, and then we'll talk about Leonardo Mayer, and then we'll get out of here. So, Rafa could play Leonardo Mayer, who came through Marius Kobel, the Romanian, in 3 sets, 7-5 in the third. Misha Zverev, who's barely hanging into a ranking that gets him in these tournaments. He's just inside the top 100. He will play David Ferrer, who has a wild card. This is David Ferrer's second to last tournament ever in his career. He's going to retire after Madrid. Wouldn't it be a great story to see him win a couple matches and face Nadal and have an epic match? Doesn't matter if Rafa wins or loses. If Ferrer wins, obviously that's a great way to end it. He might retire right here instead of Madrid. But let's say he has an epic match with Rafa and loses. Then he goes to Madrid. And let's say he has an epic match with Roger. Loses, preferably. Then he retires. I think that would be a great story. That would be so awesome to see because he had some epic battles with those guys over the years. Didn't beat them as much as he would like. In fact, I don't think Ferrer ever beat Federer, but he definitely beat Rafa. Oh, I just remembered a correction. A lot of people comment below that Gaston Gaudio has beat Rafa 3 times in clay. So there's 4 members of that club. 4 people. Roger Federer, not one of them. All right, so Luca Pouille is there. I hope Pouille loses to Ferrer, and I hope Misha Zverev loses to Nadal, probably beating Ferrer in the third round. Then he could have to play Goffin, Jan-Lennard Struff, Tsitsipas, Fucsovics. I think Tsitsipas gets through there. I sure hope for the guy. Dominic Thiem, my personal friend. Did Shorty D win today? I was watching Shorty D struggle a little bit with Yoshihito Nishioka. I'm imagining Shorty D came through that eventually. Funny story. Comment below if I'm wrong about this, but I heard Shorty D had to qualify because he forgot. He would have been the 16 seed. All he had to do was just register for the tournament. He forgot. He registered too late, so they said, sorry, dude, you got to qualify. We're not going to give you a wild card because you forgot to pop your seed in here and take advantage of being a seeded player. So if he lost, that really sucked. But I think he won. I don't know. We could settle this quick, but we got to get out of here. Dominic Thiem will probably play Diego Schwartzman. Then Francis Tiafoe will have to beat Jaume Munana. Listen to this. This is how you say his name. I'm not making it up. Jaume Munana. The E is almost like a German pronunciation.
Jaume Munana. Jaume Munana.
That's how you say the guy's name. Comment below if you disagree with him. That's a recording of him saying his own name. So, Munana. I think he's just saying Munar. But the way he says it almost sounds like a banana. Munana. If he gets through TFO, we could see that match. Would love to see this Jama guy, this young guy who is really good on clay, play Dominic Thiem. Busta. Won't say it again like that. You already got your one Busta for the day. Busta could play that. Remember that guy, Juan Ignacio Londero, who won in Cordoba in Argentina. Cordoba is actually one of the places where a lot of German settlers went. Little clue of what we're going to talk about on Mayer later. So if Londero can get through Benoit Paire, the champion of Marrakesh, I like Benoit. Well, I just like him personally. I don't know if I like him and win that because you never know. He's like Fognini. You never know what you'll get. Guido Pella, Yao Souza Palooza. They'll have to play Kacanak. Will we actually get Busta vs. Kachanov? I don't think so. I think we could easily see Londero or Benoit Paire there. Guido Pella, who almost beat Rafa. He could come through there. Karen Kachanov is not having a good year, but this would be a good time for him to pull out of that. Fabio Fognini, the great champion of Monte Carlo, will very likely go up against Federico Del Bonis, who's a good Argentine player on clay. Chapo, get to the Chapo is there. Somebody commented that. Marty Clezon, Christian Garin, Chile. Garin, isn't that guy who just won Houston? Over Casper Ruudeboy. You know, can Fognini keep playing like that? There's no reason why he shouldn't. Clearly, he's seen what he's capable of. I don't know. I would always bet against him to have him, because what we've seen from him in the past is big win, great moment, and then it kind of falls apart for him, usually. Didn't happen in the final. I know a lot of people thought after beating Rafa, it would fall apart in the final. Didn't happen. I like Fognini to come through there. I want to bet on Fognini because I've always loved this guy, and it would be a great story to see him succeed. Now he's like 32 now. Auger Aliassime will play Guido Andreozzi or Malik Jaziri. I don't know if that match already happened. Fritz and Nishikori. I like Felix to get through there. I mean, it's a good opportunity. Malik Jaziri, he's from Tunisia. He's been struggling a lot this year. Andreozzi is a lucky loser who didn't make it through qualifying. Fritz is not very comfortable on clay. He did beat Riley Opelka though, with a serve that big. I mean, you got to play okay to get through him. Nishikori, we know how talented he is, but come on. Guy's always hurt. Danny Medvedev will have to come through guys like Ramos Vinolas, Cam Nori, very doable as long as he's not still feeling tired. Mackie McDonald, Gilles Simon, Grigor Dimitrov, Fernando Verdasco, and the Granola Bar or Nicholas Jarry against Sasha Zverev. I think this is a good opportunity for Grigor Dimitrov. I mean, Verdasco's tough, but he's not at his very best, obviously. And Sasha Zverev is beatable right now. He's still struggling, like all year. All right, hit the music. We're going to get out of here. Comment below what you think about this draw. If you see anything that I missed talking about. We just did a general run-through on it. Real quick, last video, people have commented, Matt, Leonardo Mayer, he's not German, he's from Argentina. He is a German Argentine. A long time ago, like before the beginning of this country, the United States, Estados Unidos, Catherine the Große, a German princess who ruled Russia, created incentives for many Germans to come and start farming in Volgograd. So these are the Volga Germans. Less than 100 years later, no longer under the rule of Catherine the Great, the Groß, the Russians said, screw these Germans, they're doing too well here, let's make life hard on them. So many of them left. A lot of them went to Brazil. A lot of them went to Argentina. A lot of Germans have gone to Argentina since then, and most people think like, oh, it's after World War II, some not so nice Germans fleeing. But really, it's after World War I because of the economic collapse, I imagine. Now, before the 1930s, when a certain very bad group of people took over Germany, many Germans, especially German Jews, left Germany and went to Argentina and other places. And according to Wikipedia, it turns out that Leonardo Mayer is from a province that was originally settled by many Germans. So Leonardo Mayer, German Argentine. There you go. See ya!